For today's cup of coffee, we have spared you our singing.
Yes.
Now, youngest kid does remarkably well at it.
Yeah, medium.
The mama at this point in life,
You can sing.
yeah. But it was a matter of, we did a little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody. We did a little bit of Carry On My Wayward Son.
A little bit of spittle on my Switch.
It's like rock classics. There you go. You can never go wrong with the rock classics. What are we going to present today? What are we going to do today? Oh my God. And I've not been drinking. Maybe I should have, and that would have helped me. It's late in the evening. We're going to be doing Darwin Awards.
Yes.
And I actually was going to talk about Albert Coe Zaret and the Narcans that I keep wanting to call the
narcotics.
Or Narcan is what it is, which is about opioid addiction or abuse and overdose. So we'll save that for tomorrow. But the Darwin Awards have been around for forever. And I'm not a believer in evolution. I'm not. I believe in adaptation. But as far as the theory of evolution, okay, where are the things that are mid-evolution right now? It's the same premise as those that refuse to accept that the Earth is a sphere.
They're getting smarter by the day.
And it got into academia. And if you really go in there and read what dude said, and that he actually recanted towards the end of his life, and that it was put into the universities and stuff like that as being the basis of eugenics, you might think about it twice.
Just a little bit.
But as far as the Darwin Awards, these are people that have removed themselves from the gene pool.
Thank God.
Through random and acts of stupidity.
Thank God.
Famous last words. Hey, y'all, watch this. And we're going to start back from 2019, and they've only had about 5 entries, and that is something, they never did have a tremendous amount for each year. I mean, I've been doing this stuff since the 90s.
Yes.
So it's been a minute. And so I noticed these changes. But from 2019, first one, Maine man boffed by booby trap. And I'm just going to read these verbatim, and most of them, it was just whoever the staff writer was for the Darwin Awards. Didn't give a byline, so, you know. Anyhow, and this happened on November 28th, 2019 in Maine, and 65-year-old Ronald Sire, C-Y-R, or yeah, it's got to be Sire, isn't it?
Has to be.
Was shot dead on Thanksgiving evening in the rural town of Van Buren. Upon the investigation, it was determined that the shooter was none other than Ronald Sire himself. To protect his family jewelry, this Maine coon decided on a DIY approach, recalling his childhood when a loose tooth was tied to a doorknob and he was told by Papa, "When I slam this door, that tooth will shoot out of your mouth like a bullet." Our man rigged a handgun trigger to pull when the door was opened by unauthorized personnel, naturally. Oh. This and other booby traps were installed about the property with the confidence of an idiot savant. Imagine the harm that could befall an unwitting visitor to this Maine home on the Canadian border. Thankfully, no harm came to random passerbys, because it was the homeowner himself who accidentally triggered the discharge of the jury-rigged home protection bullet that ended his life. Darwin Award winner number 932, we salute you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural.
Not a good idea. Mm-hmm. This is also known as what not to do. So we have second one, Pilot Patrick's in-flight shower, and
in-flight shower.
That's what it says, and these were all confirmed true by Darwin. So no, this is actually not random bullshit. And I will put the link to
Who the
the
fuck
Darwin
is
Awards
Darwin?
page. Well, that's what it is. We just went through who Darwin was.
I know.
Okay,
It's being
anyhow.
facetious.
Well, anyhow. October 14th, 2015, Montana. Don't look at me like that.
Oh, God.
The United States is a sizable chunk of continental crust, yet people do purchase planes on the opposite coast because flying home is easy compared to driving. Just hop airports, refueling at each hop until you arrive at your home airport. Pilot Patrick, 52, was up to the task of hopping his new plane home. Licensed to fly commercial aircraft, Patrick had 10,000 hours of flight time and an instructor certificate. But during the first 2 takeoff climbs, aviation fuel, 100-octane gas, had entered the cockpit and sloshed around his feet. At the 3rd airport in Missoula, the pilot called a mechanic familiar with the airplane and discussed the issue of fuel leakage. The pilot told his mechanic that he had someone inspect the fuel system and they did not find anything wrong. The mechanic, however, wasn't buying it. Reasonably enough, he or she recommended not flying until the issue, a fuel venting problem, was resolved. But did the pilot listen? Sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. This experienced pilot overruled the mechanic's recommendation and said he would fly the plane anyway, but as a concession to safety, he would fly with the electrical system offline.
Oh, wow. That's totally safety.
This is referred to as flying in the dark with no instruments. Patrick's decision is especially baffling because the aircraft was newly purchased and its trustworthiness not yet established. To put the situation in plain English, during every takeoff, the cockpit got a shower of aviation fuel, yet Patrick had to ask if that was bad. Told in no uncertain terms to stop flying the aircraft. His response was essentially, I got this. And that chap who supposedly checked the fuel system invented a ruse to convince the mechanic all was well. Subsequently, the aircraft took off from Missoula International Airport, but made a sudden swift turn and crashed, exploding into a fireball. The NTSB report states, quote, the pilot was likely distracted by fuel entering the cockpit and failed to maintain adequate airspeed as he returned to the airport to rectify the fuel problem, resulting in an aerodynamic stall spin, unquote. Full of experience, empty of common sense, Darwin Award winner for good and sufficient cause. Pilot Patrick, we salute you. Yeah, no problem with fuel coming in and turning your instrument panel off.
Yeah, totally. No. God.
Yeah. It makes you wonder.
I know of people that would actually do something as stupid as that.
Well, it's like this. It makes you wonder how many people like Patrick are still flying others in the skies above.
There's many that we don't even want to think about.
At least he didn't. At least it wasn't
Don't
like a
fly
passenger.
Atlanta.
It wasn't a passenger plane.
Yeah, he did have some sense to not do that in a private. He had some sense to do that with a private jet.
Right. I mean, some of these are just. That's the reason there's a slight silence afterwards, because we're stunned. And it's just like, what do you say? What do you really say?
Shit.
Okay.
Oh, well.
2 Texans die trying. And
Yeah, that's a way to go.
May 24th, 2019, and this actually says Louisiana. It says, like ill-fated Madame Curie, may their experiment be a warning to you, my friend. South of Lake Charles, Black Bayou Drawbridge was closed to cars and open to boats. Again, drawbridge.
Yeah.
Eventually, this was an irresistible Friday night challenge to Texas Man, who was 32, and Texas Man 2, who was 23. The Chevy crew stopped on Black Bayou Bridge, and a Texas man emerged and pushed up the safety gate for the drawbridge. His second mistake was to jump back in as the driver accelerated rapidly up the open drawbridge ramp, thinking, shoot the gap. You cannot live long if the road's IQ is higher than your own. In this IQ test, our double Darwin winners failed. Indeed, they set a new low. Because these Texas men, unlike the Blues Brothers, lacked cop tires, cop engine, cop suspension, and a mission from God. A witness observed a passenger emerge and push up the arm of the safety gate, then get back in while the driver backed up a bit and accelerated hard over the drawbridge edge. Over the bridge and through the waves, our double Darwin winners paved new ground and demonstrating a new dead end leading off the path of evolution. The Shoot the Gap tragedy happened at 2 a.m. The car sank from sight, and it was no easy task to locate the wreck. Louisiana State Police drivers eventually located and lifted the vehicle with pontoons and recovered 2 drowned bodies from the Black Bayou. Identities were identified in a CNN news article. Double Darwin, a twofer, take heed and practice patience on the drawbridges of life.
I just with that. How many people have honestly tried to do that and have failed every single time?
I don't know.
Because there have been many cases of people attempting to do the same damn thing.
You know, it looks like after once that everybody else will go, that was stupid. That wasn't just stupid. That was damn stupid. But
apparently not.
And that there's some kind of disconnect to sit there and go, okay, this was stupid. These people died doing this. I'm going to try it too. What happens with that?
They dumb. Don't expect much from dumb.
I don't know. And now this one is interesting the way that it's written. The opinions of these authors do not reflect the opinions of youngest kid and myself sometimes, especially on this one, just the way that it's written.
Yeah.
Rhino poacher killed by elephant and eaten by lions. Okay, and this was from April. April 2019 in South Africa. And it makes a funny headline, but it's no laughing matter. The elephant trampled and lion digested poacher had illegally crept into a national park with murder in mind, for there is money to be made from a rhino's horn, and therefore poachers hunt and kill these big, beautiful animals. Poor rhino, sad victim of the human greed for money. Some rhinoceros species suffered recent extinctions, and all species are endangered. Trashing our irreplaceable planetary home is a Darwin Award in the making for doomed mankind, stupid sapiens. I would have left out a lot of those sentences, but anyhow. And then it says, human extinction, bring it on. And my thinking is to the writer, you first. Humans are turning this planet into a bloodthirsty arbitrator as we slaughter species after species for no good reason. This turned into a rant, not a Darwin Award.
Well, some of them don't need to be killed. They really don't.
No, they don't. The killing of rhinoceros is especially barbarous. According to the New York Times article, the target animal is drugged until it can't move. Then the horn is hacked off, an innocent face, and the large animal is left to bleed to death in agony and fear. Hey, you rhinoceros buying barbarian. That money you spend on rhino horn profits, criminals who are slaughtering our beloved animal relatives. I, for one, applaud the elephants and lions who cry out for justice. Okay, the whole point of that was that whoever the poacher was, the elephant trampled him and the lion ate his ass. Yay!
Yeah.
The rest of it, Mm-hmm. But I just read it as it was written.
Okay.
Then we have from 2020, The Pinnacle of Stupidity. And this is my guest writer, and I will do my best to try to pronounce this because it's Greek. Why doesn't anyone named Smith write this stuff? Seriously. I don't know. Guest writer is James G. Petropoulos. See if you can pronounce that. Petropoulos, I think is what it is. You can even see where it is.
Petropoulos.
Okay. Well, from now on, I'll just cue you and you can say dude's name. This is from October the 28th.
I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They can, if they care, they can go on this website and look it up. And I'm sure that there are people that can speak Greek fluently.
Unless he's like that lady from the show, Keeping Up Appearances, the bucket lady, but she pronounces it bouquet.
Famale. I understand. Anyhow, this was from October 28th, 2019, Japan. Quote, hands are numb but must operate smartphone, end quote, muttered 27-year-old Tetsu to his live stream audience as he skidded and stumbled up the snow-covered, oh my God, it was a trail going to Mount Fuji. I wish I had brought heat packs, he lamented, and then he was heard to say, wait, I think I'm slipping. 62 miles west of Tokyo, iconic Mount Fuji is one of Japan's 3 holy mountains. It is a 12,389-foot volcanic summit visited by religious pilgrims, mountain climbers, and sightseers. The trek is cold and slippery even during the brief summer session, when amenity stations are staffed and available for the benefit of climbers. In the off-season, the stations are closed and mountain conditions are downright hostile and inhospitable. A winter climber needs the proper gear, climbing experience, and a booster pack of common sense. Tetsu, alas, lacked all 3. Wearing street clothes suitable for a typical October day in Tokyo and carrying nothing more than a pair of climbing poles, Tetsu fired up his smartphone and proceeded up the trail. Incidentally, most climbers use only for descent. Live streaming for the video sharing platform, he entitles his video, Let's Go to Snowy Mount Fuji.
Which platform was it again? YouTube?
Nikon Auto, it's something.
Oh, I know that.
Niconico?
No, it's Japanese, I think.
I think it's Niconico is what it looks like.
But yeah, I've been on that website, yeah.
Nico? Is that it? Okay.
No, cool now.
In hindsight, the title implies that Tetsu considered Snowy Mount Fuji as safe as a ski resort or Christmas tree farm. Viewers began tuning in following his happy jaunt up the ash-covered trail. Ashes soon turned to snow and then to deep snow. Tetsu's viewers were now being treated to a litany of complaints about cold, numb hands and a bitter lack of hot packs. Those watching might have started to feel a bit badly for Tetsu.
No.
This was a very good time.
Don't feel badly for him. He did this to himself.
This was a very good time for him to turn back and resume a life of relative anonymity. A turning point, as it were. But the urge to continue, perhaps motivated by reluctance to disappoint his viewers, encouraged Tetsu to trudge further into the obvious and imminent danger. Continuing social media commentary as he juggles climbing poles and smartphone in his frost-bitten mitts, Tetsu demonstrates a classic case of misplaced priorities when he states that despite numb extremities, he must continue to operate his live stream.
Instead of turning back.
His viewers no doubt notice that the trail has suddenly become narrower. The protective fence has ended, and he is perilously close to the brink. He is now past the point of no return. There is absolutely nothing his viewers could do except tune out in disbelief or perhaps place wagers amongst themselves on his odds of returning intact. Oh, this place is slippery, getting dangerous, he belatedly notices. I'm trying to walk by the rocks. Yes, rocks. It's a steep downhill. Does his audience hear the reassuring sound of crampons gripping the ice as he continues past the end of the safety fence into uncertain territory? Of course not. He did not bring crampons. Those are the things that grip on your shoes. They're like spikes. The slope at that point is 30 degrees, as anyone still watching could see. In his continued play-by-play march along an increasingly risky path, Tetsu frequently cautions himself against falling. Some of his viewers might have given a wry chuckle at his sudden realization of what he had gotten himself into. His inappropriate footwear now begins failing as he trips and stumbles on. More than once he asks himself whether he is on the right track. Viewers already know the answer. Astonishingly close to the summit for an amateur winter hiker, Tetsu at last utters the anticlimactic words, "Wait, I'm slipping." Experienced Mount Fuji climbers say if you start slipping, you have one chance at self-arrest before it's too late. Even now, Tetsu might drop his phone and jab his climbing poles into the ground. But no, in an instant, it becomes apparent that his smartphone is the intelligent one. Still live streaming away, Tetsu begins an uncontrolled slide down the rocky, snowy slope. Viewers are treated to a spectacle of feet flailing and poles tumbling free. A few seconds later, the phone footage abruptly stops. The final chilling image shows a climbing pole frozen in mid-flight. His viewers promptly alerted authorities. The 47-year-old's lifeless body was found the next day at an altitude of 9,800 feet, 1,000 meters away from where he began his fall.
Oh, my God.
But for a little preparedness, the hero was lost. Gloves and crampons and a sprinkle sense was all Tetsu needed to create a spectacular live stream on the ascent of Japan's holy mountain. And he might have had another 47 years to relive and enjoy the experience. Watching the video, one can almost feel the mind-numbing cold Tetsu describes, but in the end, cold was not the culprit. Numb hands, numb brain. Now, what I don't understand, it says as far as the viewers, after he started filing, then they alerted the authorities. When he started this stuff, why didn't somebody call the authorities and say, hey, there's an idiot trying to climb this mountain, plan for him to need help soon? Somebody try to go and bullhorn and say, hey, you're a dumbass, get off the mountain.
Fuck, I don't know.
Can you imagine watching something?
I would have just let him go. If he was dumb enough to do that, then I'm not going to let natural selection do its course on that.
Well, it sort of horrifies me, the things that people not only will live stream, but that people will watch as a live stream.
I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't watch live streamers that much anyway.
The only people that I watch that's live streaming are like, it is political commentary or something like that.
Most of the people I watch is like Xylee Gets Real, which she's really good if y'all want to watch her.
Well, it's like Sleazy P. Martini. He comes on tonight. He was the manager of Guar.
A Pumpkin Guy, or better known as J.I. Mathers, or Foamy the Squirrel.
Yeah.
He's really cool.
I watch Salty Cracker. That's my main live stream that I watch.
And that's pretty much it as far as what I watch, as far as live streamers.
Yeah.
I don't go on Twitch anymore.
I do Pastor Chatelet's after party live stream most nights. Some nights I got to join the live stream yesterday, and hi friends. So, but as far as
I miss Jenna Marbles.
As far as these people doing this, I cannot imagine sitting and watching someone die.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Then we have from February the 9th, 2020, and this is a slack robatic, instead of acrobatic, slack robatic effort. And it says this is Mount Gambier in Australia. Again, this is from Petropolis.
Yeah.
I did better. At midnight, the phone rang for Police Inspector Campbell Hill. What? Someone fell into the sinkhole? Bloody hell, better ring up the fire department. We will need their rope rescue rig for this one. I am not going to try to do an Australian accent. Cave Garden Sinkhole, the most magical spot in South Australia, is actually the cenote of the flanks of the dormant volcano, located at the heart of the city of Mount Gambier. Beautiful vines and roses cascade down its steep walls, and graceful waterfalls adds to the natural beauty. I'm getting essence of Brent Swanser with this man's writings. Yeah. A protective fence surrounds the sinkhole, and a lovely wrought iron platform extends over the precipice to offer a thrilling view of the cenote floor 100 feet below. The mayor said the sinkhole, a popular local and tourist attraction, was a safe environment for many years, enjoyed by thousands of people. Inspector Hill may have muttered those same rueful words as he arrived before dawn on Sunday morning. The fire service had already rigged the rope rescue apparatus. Searchlights focused on the lifeless body of 20-year-old Bradley Streeter, who was hoisted up and out of the sinkhole at 3 a.m. Police investigation swiftly uncovered the events that led to his tragic tumble. Two facts were certain. Bradley died instantly at the scene, and foul play was ruled out. But when the Inspector Hill was told that the specific reason for Bradley's death, he could only stand dumbfounded. He did what? Bradley was a cheeky lad with heart of gold, adventurous and mechanically talented, fond of four-wheelers and fishing, an aspiring mechanic with a side hustle selling car parts. He had a good future ahead of him and was well loved by family and friends in his small hometown 5 hours away from Mount Gambier. So
Everybody's looking at him, oh, you poor dumb child.
So Inspector Hill found it hard to accept what witnesses and first responders were telling him. Young Bradley did a midnight handstand on the viewing platform railing. Yes, a handstand. Moments before midnight, Bradley was poised upside down on a rail 100 feet above the dark cave floor. In a single moment, his proud alley-oop became a disastrous alley-oops as he lost balance, and his trajectory took him down into the deep, dark cenote. Friends were with Bradley the night he performed an illegal handstand that resulted in his death. Handstands are great at ground level, for a bump to the butt is the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
But add any amount of altitude and your chance of injury grows exponentially along with the force of gravity. The speed of an object in free fall doubles for each second it falls towards the earth. We editors at the Darwin Awards regretfully hand Bradley this Darwin Award while wishing we could have talked sense into him before he did the deed. Stupidity kills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Natural selection.
I mean, what do you even say about that? I mean, my God, 20 years old, doing a handstand on a safety rail, 100 foot above nothing.
You dumb fuck.
Really? I mean, seriously, these are just beyond words on some of it. It's, my God.
You know, I wonder if Sophie's death was put on the Darwin Awards.
Which Sophie is
the
this?
producer,
I'm sorry.
The music producer, Sophie.
I don't think so.
The one that crawled up onto the roof to get a better view of the full moon and slipped off and died.
Oh, God. Well, we're getting to 2021. We are. Was alcohol and drugs a factor in this?
She was sober.
Are you sure?
She was 100%
So it was just
sober.
flat out 100%
She
stupid.
just wanted to look at the moon.
My God. Anyhow.
Just full moon makes people dumb.
Yeah, well, you know, and this is another one by Tripopoulos. Is that what it was? I had it. I
don't know where the fuck it is now.
James. He's the guest
James.
writer again.
It's fine.
And this was from March 17th, 2020, Colorado. And Michael Sexton, 58, read of a buried treasure in a book authored by an eccentric and controversial art dealer named Forrest Fenn. In the thrill of the chase, Finn claims that he himself buried $2 million worth of gold coins and other artifacts somewhere out in the Rocky Mountains, and gives clues throughout the book, hinting at its secret location in 9 poetry verses. Temptation was great for Michael, although 350,000 others had gone looking for the buried box. No one is known to have found it. Worse, 4 men died in the effort. Unlike the rest of them, however, Michael knew where the treasure was buried based on his interpretation of the clues in the book. So he talked to a 65-year-old acquaintance into joining him on the treasure hunt, and their quest for the quick riches began.
Oh, God.
In February of 2020, they headed to Dinosaur National Monument on the Colorado-Utah border. Michael
Lord.
was so certain he knew where the treasure was that neither he nor his colleague prepared for an overnight stay in the mountains, no doubt assuming that if they started early enough that they would be home by sunset, $2 million richer. Well, Michael was wrong. They found no treasure and they lost their bearings. Cold, hungry, and disoriented, the future looked grim for Michael and his friend. Shivering and close to death, they were fortunately found just in time by a search and rescue team who brought them down the mountain. One would think that having survived such an experience, Michael would have learned better. But he did not. 1 month later, having sufficiently recovered, he set out for a second try. Once more, he sweet-talked the 65-year-old colleague into joining him because treasure, this time they would find it. The unfolding COVID-19 epidemic had prompted intermittent closures of Dinosaur National Monument, and hikers were cautioned that difficult terrain should be avoided so first responders could remain safe in quarantine. But that didn't stop Michael. On Tuesday, March 17th, he left Denver with a few candy bars, 2 bottles of water, a copy of Finn's book, and the clothes on his back. Just outside the park.
Oh my God! Yes, let's not bring thick wool clothing, proper climbing gear, a tent, a sleeping bag. Let's not actually prep.
Just like before.
You got saved by the skin of your ass, and you decided to go out on an adventure again.
I think it has something to do
You
with
dumb
that
fuck.
name.
Goodbye.
Just outside the park, the 2 men rented snowmobiles and loaded them onto the bed of their pickup truck. The bemused rental agent watched the unprepared treasure hunters drive off towards the remote northwest boundary of the park, perhaps wondering how long the unlikely pair would last before they returned. After nightfall, the rental agent alerted local authorities. The search began. On the morning of Friday the 20th, they found Michael's truck. On Saturday morning, they found the abandoned snowmobiles and saw that Michael and his friend had unwisely continued on foot. Saturday afternoon, they located the 2 men about a mile from the snowmobiles, ironically at nearly the exact spot of the previous rescue a month earlier. Michael was brought back down the mountain, but this time in a body bag. His friend barely survived and refuses to talk about their ordeal to this day. In June
wonder why.
of 2020, the treasure was rumored to have been finally discovered, but this word came from the author, Forrest Fenn himself, and he has not provided any further details as of the time of this writing. Fenn's veracity has been questioned by, among others, the FBI, and several lawsuits have since been filed against him. Some speculate that the treasure, if it exists at all, consists of artifacts illegally harvested by Fenn. Whatever the truth is, people will no doubt continue looking for the fabled treasure. If so, they had best proceed better prepared, or else find themselves in the same sorry predicament as Michael and the treasure trove buried. Dumbass! Dumbass! It's speechless. I told you, it leaves you speechless.
You dumb fucks.
Anyhow. And as far as 2021, they didn't even have anything yet. What they had 2 stories, but they were from years prior.
I was surprised you didn't pull up Sophie's story because she died like last year.
Well, I think what happened was that there has been such a vast amount of stupid that they're just overwhelmed. They don't even know where to start. Now, let me tell you something. When the Babylon Bee seems to be more factual than real headlines.
And this year is almost over, so they better hurry up and actually write some shit down for 2021.
No, there's a reason they call it Clown World, because everybody is just... This is why I stay in the house. I was always reclusive anyhow, but my God, I have been in hermit mode.
Well, you can go out in the house, just be smart. You and I both are smart about that. It's the other people that are usually dumb.
I'm smart. That's why I stay in the house, because I recognize the stupid that is out there when I get out of the house.
Thank God Amazon and eBay exist.
Now, I tell you something, even as far as people driving, and I don't know if it's a matter of distracted driving or what.
That's exactly what
or
it is.
If it's a matter of them just a cell phone or whatever, bells and whistles they've got. But when you've got these people that they're swerving not just towards that center line but over it, and including these semis, oh hell no! I can either I take the back roads or I sit in the house. I try to make plans.
I like driving the back roads anyway.
I try to make plans to where I don't have to go out as much, because I don't want to see the stupid. I don't want to witness the stupid.
By the way, what day is tomorrow?
Sunday.
We're gonna have to make a trip to Chilhowie.
Why?
I'm gonna be on the search for Rainbow High down there. Apparently, the cheer series has been released along with the OMG Swim series.
Can it wait till Monday?
I can go by myself. I have no problem with that.
We were just talking about the stupid. We were just talking about it.
I can drive.
It can wait a day. That's Aries.
I want my jade.
You know what? That's something I would wonder if each and every one of these people mentioned in these Darwin Awards, if they had Aries in their chart and how much Aries they had.
Yeah, because most of my chart is just Aries. Yeah, my main sign should have just been Aries.
Because it's a matter of leaping before looking. Now, Aries, if you're out there listening, you all have some wonderful qualities. But this is one of the shortcomings of people with Aries in their chart. And we have Cat at door that sounds like it's trying to tear it down.
It's trying to break it.
Anyhow, on the next one, I promise
I'm not going to be on the Darwin Awards.
We are going to talk
die in some
about
stupid way.
Zeret and the Narcans. With us, it's hard to tell what you're going to get. So, if you've had experiences with the supernatural and paranormal encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, idiots, who has not had experiences with idiots?
What's your best story about an idiot that you have?
God help.
Share your idiot stories.
I hope that none of you all know someone who was a Darwin Award.
Seriously, please email her.
No.
Email her about your idiot stories at what is it? Cup of coffee.
Cupofcoffeewithscream at gmail.com. Yeah. So I just pray that nobody knows. Everybody has had idiots in their life, for real.
Once again, that's cupofcoffeewithscream at gmail.com.
Yeah. It distresses me. When somebody else has had to go through that extreme hardship, it distresses me.
I like reading the stories sometimes. I really do.
I have, anyhow. We're going to pray one for another. We're going to pray for the stupid people. We're going to pray that none of us become the stupid people.
God, let's hope not.
It's just like, that is what the epidemic is everybody been ate up with the dumbass.
Also, if you have the new Animal Crossing amiibo cards or whatever they are, send them my way, please.
Quit bumming people.
I'm going bum.
Now, I tell you, if you all have never heard that phrase that I just used a moment ago, that is, I don't know if it's outside of Appalachia, but phrase? That somebody being eat up with the dumbass.
I think that's just from around here. I think that's just...
Well, then you can add that to your vocabulary. And it's like, where did you hear that?
Of course.
Not you. we got viewers and listeners out there. You all can add that to your vocabulary and, mystify your friends and family members.
Just like the saying, not much pumpkin.
No, it's not pumpkin. It's pumpkin. Ain't much pumpkin.
I say pumpkin.
I did try to do the series of how to speak Appalachian, but because I do it all the time, I don't know what is abnormal, what is peculiar to our speech.
Yeah, compare her accent to mine. Mine's vastly different.
It is vastly different.
I couldn't hear properly for years. Still
and it's a
with
matter the way that I speak. Unfortunately, that's going away, and that's part of our culture. But I don't want to end on a sad note. You a Debbie Downer.
That wasn't me being a Debbie Downer.
Anyhow,
we're
gonna talk about Z-Ret tomorrow. I don't care what you say. We're going to talk about Z-Ret and the Norcons or the Narcans. So you all have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Yeah. Hopefully having some laughs with us.
Please share your idiot stories with us. We need to hear them.
Thank you for sharing coffee with us.
Thank you for spending your morning or whenever that you listen to us.
And know that you're loved and that you're appreciated.
We greatly appreciate all of you.
And we'll see you all on the next cup.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.